Have you ever had one of those moments where, on paper, everything looks great, but you just feel like something's missing? Today, we're diving into a really powerful story that shows how one little shift in the way we see things can literally build a life of true abundance.
I mean, it's a strange question, isn't it? We can have so much going for us, a good job, a family we love, a safe place to live, and yet there's this little voice in the back of our heads that says, is this it? Why does that happen? Well, let's unpack this with a story.
So, let me introduce you to Amina. From the outside looking in, her life seemed pretty solid, but on the inside, she was caught in a really common and really sneaky trap, the trap of always comparing herself to others.
She had a good job, a steady career in the city that paid the bills. Check.
Her family was healthy, everyone was doing okay, which is, a massive blessing all on its own.
And then there was all the everyday stuff we barely even notice, right? Getting to and from work safely, having food to eat every day. All the foundational pieces of a good life were totally there.
But, and this is the whole point, despite all of these blessings, Amina's mind wasn't focused on what she had. Nope. It was always wandering over to what she didn't have. She was stuck in this loop of comparison, constantly thinking, why don't I have that? Why isn't my life better? And this feeling, this cycle of just dissatisfaction, it just went on and on. That is, until one totally normal evening, when something happened that changed everything. So picture this. She's just sitting by her window after a long day, probably exhausted. She glances outside and sees these kids playing. And they're barefoot, their clothes are a bit worn, but they are just radiating pure joy. And seeing that simple image, it was like a switch flipped inside her head. And her reaction? Wow. It's just so real and so honest. It wasn't some complicated philosophical thought. It was just this simple, quiet prayer. That was the moment. The moment she stopped looking sideways at what everyone else had and finally saw what was right in front of her. A total shift from complaint to pure, honest humility. Now, that moment of clarity could have just been a fleeting feeling, right? But for Amina, it was the start of something new. It was the beginning of a simple, practical habit that would completely rewire her brain. And the practice itself couldn't be simpler. Seriously. Every single night, before bed, she'd grab a notebook and just jot down 3 specific things from her day that she was thankful for. Not like, I'm grateful for my life, but small things, specific things. But here's the thing. It wasn't some instant miracle. At first, she said it felt really weird, even a little forced. She was thinking, am I really supposed to thank God for a glass of water? For my bed? And I think that initial resistance is so relatable. It just goes to show you that building a habit of gratitude, it actually takes work. But she stuck with it, day after day. And little by little, that slightly awkward nightly ritual started to create these huge, profound changes, not just in her head, but in her actual life. I mean, the contrast is just night and day. Before, her whole world was framed by comparing, by feeling restless, and by every single problem feeling like this massive weight on her shoulders. But after consistently practicing gratitude, her focus shifted. She started looking at her own blessings. She felt calmer, she started laughing more, and all of a sudden, those same challenges just didn't feel so heavy anymore. And then, and this is where it gets really amazing, her internal shift started to show up on the outside. All of a sudden, she gets a promotion at work that she wasn't even expecting. A new person comes into her life who ends up being this incredible friend and mentor. Even the health of her family started to improve. It was like her gratitude was literally paving the way for more good things to come.
So what was really going on there? Amina's story is incredible, for sure, but it's also a perfect example of this deep, universal principle about how abundance actually works.
The whole key is to understand what true gratitude really is. It's so much more than just saying thank you on autopilot. It's an active way of seeing the world. It's about training yourself to spot the blessings in the little things, to maybe even appreciate challenges for what they can teach you, and to see life itself as the ultimate gift. You're basically retraining your brain to hunt for the good that's already there. And this wisdom from the Prophet Muhammad just expands on that idea so beautifully. It connects our gratitude to God with our gratitude for the people He puts in our lives. You really can't have one without the other. When you thank someone for their help or their kindness, you're also thanking the ultimate source of that goodness.
And right here, this is the divine promise that the entire idea is built on. This verse from the Quran,
It's not just a nice thought. It's stated like a law of the universe, like spiritual physics. Gratitude isn't just a pleasant emotion. It is the very engine of increase. The more you are grateful, the more you are given to be grateful for.
So that brings it all back to us, to a very personal, and I think very powerful question. Amina's entire life was transformed because she started naming just 3 small things a day. It's that simple. It's that practical. And it's something you can literally start doing right now. So, what 3 blessings will you acknowledge today?